This is Kevin Mayo, and today we're drinking Thimble Island Kiki, a dry hop sour ale fermented with kiwi. Don't know a lot about the beer, looked it up a little bit. They have kiwi puree in it, and it looks like the hop they're using is Wai-iti, which is a New Zealand hop. Supposedly it's fairly aromatic and has maybe some peaches and apricot flavors around it. Don't know a lot about the hop, even though it's 10 years old. And speaking of 10 years old, Thimble Island's 10 years old now. I just looked. I knew I had reviewed Ghost Island by them. I just looked. I did it 5 years ago. I didn't rewatch it. But I haven't really been down there in a while. So 10 years ago, they would be really one of the pioneers around here in Connecticut. Going back 10 years. I'm trying to think of 10 years ago, a lot of the guys were still fairly new. Back East was still new. Broadbrook was still new. They were just up and running themselves at that point. So I didn't realize Thimble Island was that much of a pioneer. So cheers to Thimble Island. Looks like you've really grown just looking at the size of the crew that you have on doing your story and your team. Last time I stopped down there, it must have been 5 years ago, there was probably only 2 or 3 people there. So anyway, we got a sour ale, and we got to ferment it with kiwi, so let's give it a crack and see what we got. As always, if you like the reviews, please subscribe. We're always looking for new friends. And go ahead and leave comments, because we love talking about beer. So let's go ahead and see what we have here in the glass. We have, I would say pale yellow to light orange. About a half a finger of bright white head, though I had a fairly unaggressive pour, so some of that is a function of my pour. Very hazy. Can't even really see through it. You would almost expect that with the puree and the fact that nobody filters anymore. And I can see, if I get it just right in the light, I can see a few bubbles streaming up through it. So let's go ahead and do aroma. Get a little bit of lime. I get a little bit of that tart sour. A little bit of citrus. Maybe lemon. Yeah, so lemon, lime, citrus. Yeah, lemon, lime, citrus. A little bit of like a tequila kick. I'm not saying tequila, but like a little bit of that aroma coming through, which is probably from the salt. From the lime. Well, let's go ahead. Let's just see if we get a little bit more out of the aroma here. That just intensified the lime by swirling around a little bit. The lime came much more forward. Let's give it a taste. Cheers. So, quite tart. Right on the first part of the tongue, it's not really heavy tart. You're like, oh, and then it just really nice sour tart. Lime. Grapefruit rind. There's a little bit of peach. Had to dig for it. I just got it on the front of the tongue. I just got a little sweetness. I did get a little bit of the peach. If you don't like sours, not the beer for you. It's definitely on the tartar end, and it really, the tartness is really what you're coming from. It's actually quite refreshing when you get down to it. Mouthfeel-wise, probably medium. It's a little bit smooth going down. Finishes quite dry and actually finishes a little sticky on the tongue. So, lime. A little bit of lemon, peach if you can dig it out, tartness. I think 5% alcohol. I think it's really quite crushable. You could drink more than one of them for sure. If you're into tarts, sours, you're really going to like it. If you're not going to like it. Overall, the flavors are fairly subdued. It's not a strong, like really citrus flavor at the front end of it. The tartness does, I don't say overpower it, but the tartness is the most prevalent flavor that you get on it. I'm not knocking it for that. That's just the way it is. Sometimes we get a little too overindulgent, over-dependent on sweet hops and fancy floral hops. So this is a little bit less that. The hops are more laid back. I don't know what they use for bittering. I don't think this hop bitters, so they must have used something for bittering. Obviously, probably lactobacillus to get the sour in there. Overall, a very solid beer. I'd say it's a B beer, an 85 out of 100. Till next time, keep drinking.